They said no human would ever make it through the Crimson Dunes alive, Roger Kane muttered under his breath as the twin suns reflected off shattered hovercraft fragments, the acrid scent of scorched metal filling the hot, whispering air. Every step sent grains of crystalline sand clinking against his boots, and the horizon shimmered with heat haze, warping distant ruins into impossible shapes. A faint pulse on his wrist monitor indicated a life signal, weak but present, sparking a surge of curiosity he couldn't ignore. Roger adjusted his exosuit sensors, scanning the fractured terrain, and spotted her, Rena Valor, the alien warrior, prone, her luminous cyan skin marred by abrasions, armor torn and bent. A sudden breeze carried dust that caught in her hair, glinting silver in the sunlight, and for a moment the world held its breath. He crouched beside her, noting the unusual energy readings from her biosignature, a pattern that didn't match anything in his database, and a surge of tension spiked in his chest as shadows lengthened over the dunes, hinting at unseen dangers approaching fast. Every instinct told him retreat was safest, yet discovery drove him forward. The truth of her survival and the anomaly in her bioprofile demanded attention. As he reached out to stabilize her, the sand shifted beneath them, revealing a hidden cavity in the ruins, a possible shelter or trap, twisting the scene into an enigma that held the promise of revelation and the threat of peril. The moment crystallized, curiosity, tension, and the weight of the unknown pressing on him, a single heartbeat bridging the gap between what was and what could be, as Roger prepared to uncover secrets that might change everything for both human and alien alike. Roger Kane crouched behind a fractured dune, the wind whipping shards of sand across his visor, and whispered, "There is something here no one expected." His exosuit sensors flickered, detecting irregular energy signatures radiating from the prone alien warrior before him, Rena Valor, whose cyan skin shimmered against the sun-blasted metal and sand. Her eyes, wide and alert, tracked his every move, yet there was no weapon drawn, only the subtle tension in the way she held herself, the curve of her posture signaling both readiness and weariness. The ruins surrounding them emitted faint pulses, irregular but patterned, a hint of technology far beyond human understanding, tucked between broken panels and scorched conduits that glinted like fractured glass. Roger advanced cautiously, noticing glyphs etched into walls, some luminous, others fading, symbols that suggested both a history and a warning, teasing a narrative of empire and innovation that felt just out of reach. As he moved closer, Rena shifted slightly, her gaze calculating and precise, evaluating him as if weighing a threat, a test, or an opportunity, her movement small yet deliberate, every inch a statement of alien poise and expectation. The breeze carried whispers of static energy, low hums that suggested dormant mechanisms hidden beneath the sands, stirring curiosity in Roger, the sensation of discovery prickling through his nerves like electricity along his fingertips. He noted the alignment of the ruins with the sun, the angled beams casting elongated shadows across the crystalline sand, creating a maze of light and dark, of concealment and exposure, a subtle escalation that suggested the environment itself was observing, adapting, and perhaps responding to presence. The alien warrior made no sound but exuded awareness, her respiration measured, synchronized almost with the shifting pulses in the ruins, an unspoken connection between creature and structure, revealing a hidden layer of intelligence. Roger's sensors flickered again, highlighting pockets of energy that seemed to suggest movement beyond what could be seen, raising the stakes, the subtle threat of unseen watchers or mechanisms poised to react. Every discovery compounded the curiosity and tension. Why was she here, why had she survived, and what secrets did this landscape conceal that could alter both their fates? He reached out with caution, his gloved hand brushing a piece of metal debris that pulsed faintly, and in that instant a new pattern emerged across the sensor display, a rhythmic code, almost like a heartbeat, aligning with Rena's own. The revelation was immediate and disorienting. The ruins and the warrior were connected in ways that promised knowledge and danger alike. Roger adjusted his stance, the desert heat baking against his armor, awareness of the thin line between observation and intrusion sharpening every sense, every calculation, as the first contact crystallized into a dynamic exchange of presence, energy, and unspoken intelligence, a silent dialogue that promised change before any words were spoken. The ruins expanded as Roger Kane moved carefully across uneven metal walkways and sand-swept platforms, revealing a labyrinth of alien architecture that pulsed faintly with energy. Strange geometric patterns etched into walls glowed with a soft blue light, hinting at a civilization that had mastered both form and function in ways humans had never seen. Suspended platforms shifted slowly above a shallow chasm, revealing machinery that seemed simultaneously ancient and advanced, gears spinning without audible sound, emitting low harmonic vibrations that resonated through the floor into Roger's boots. He noted elongated conduits stretching across the complex, carrying fluids that shimmered like liquid metal, feeding nodes of technology that defied conventional physics. Rena Valor's presence illuminated new details, her posture and subtle movements hinting at familiarity with the environment, suggesting she had been trained to navigate these corridors, each step a silent protocol etched into her memory. Sensors in his exosuit detected slight variations in the energy field surrounding the machinery, and Roger adjusted his display to map the anomalies, revealing hidden pathways and chambers partially concealed by sand and debris. The further he advanced, the more the ruins seemed to respond, light intensifying along certain edges, shadows elongating, creating a dynamic interplay that suggested a system alive, observing, and adapting. Symbols along the walls appeared to encode information, some resembling written language, others abstract patterns that pulsed rhythmically, almost like signals intended for recognition by native physiology. Roger's curiosity piqued as he approached a central hub, where a translucent panel projected holographic maps of surrounding terrain, corridors, and energy nodes, a discovery that suggested not only advanced design but potential strategic importance. He realized that every step within this alien structure brought with it new questions: the purpose of the installations, the history of the civilization that created them, and the significance of Rena's connection to this space. The interplay of light and energy created a sense of urgency, an implicit warning that moving without understanding could trigger unintended consequences. As he observed, faint vibrations ran through the platforms, hinting at mechanisms beyond mere decoration, and each pulse carried the possibility of discovery or escalation, a silent threat of change that required careful navigation. Roger paused briefly to analyze the holographic interface, noting patterns that suggested both past activity and possible current function, the potential for interaction with the system opening pathways that could alter their immediate environment. Rena's attention shifted subtly, scanning the corridors with trained precision, revealing her own recognition of pathways and hazards that human sensors could not fully interpret, a revelation that challenged Roger's assumptions about alien intelligence and coordination. Every corridor he explored revealed both functional and aesthetic design, a civilization capable of intricate artistry while maintaining practical utility, creating a constant tension between beauty, utility, and danger. Roger's mind raced with possibilities, the thrill of discovery coupled with the implicit warning in the subtle energy shifts and moving platforms, each pulse a reminder that the environment itself was a participant in their unfolding story, a system that demanded respect, observation, and calculated response as they delved deeper into the alien world. As they moved deeper into the alien ruins, Roger Kane observed subtle anomalies in Rena Valor's physiology that did not match any human expectation. Her movements were measured, deliberate, yet there was an efficiency in the way she adapted to the shifting platforms, a biomechanical fluency that hinted at training beyond ordinary capability. Faint luminescent patterns along her limbs responded to environmental cues, pulsing with each step, as if synchronized with the energy conduits threaded through the walls and floors. Roger noted a slight emission of thermal energy from her skin that fluctuated in intensity, signaling adaptive regulation unlike any automated system he had encountered. The ambient sounds of the ruins were punctuated by soft harmonic vibrations that seemed to interact with her presence, revealing an unspoken feedback loop between organic and inorganic structures. Observing this, Roger realized that Rena's body and the alien architecture were entwined in ways that allowed her to navigate, anticipate, and even influence the environment with subtle physiological signals. The discovery challenged his understanding of alien biology and raised questions about the limits of human perception and interaction. Every gesture she made, each shift of weight, created minute changes in the environmental energy readings, prompting Roger to adjust his sensors continuously, documenting patterns that suggested a level of integration with the ruins previously unconsidered. Curiosity intensified as he traced her interaction with a central console projecting holographic data streams, her touch caused responsive changes that appeared to calibrate the system, revealing hidden chambers and pathways that might otherwise remain inaccessible. The interplay of her unique biosignature with the technology created a new dimension of discovery, a silent communication between living organism and machine that hinted at a deeper intelligence embedded in the design of the ruins. Roger's awareness heightened as he considered the implications. If her capabilities were indicative of her species' potential, it could redefine the parameters of interspecies interaction and strategy. The subtle exchanges of energy, light, and movement between Rena and the environment revealed patterns that no ordinary observer could detect, emphasizing both the alien sophistication and the potential for human understanding to expand when closely observed. Each revelation carried an undercurrent of tension, suggesting that while the ruins offered knowledge and opportunity, they also demanded respect, precision, and constant vigilance. The moment crystallized the realization that Rena's presence was not merely incidental, she was an integral participant in the environment's function, a discovery that held the promise of insight, escalation, and unforeseen change in the unfolding narrative of their journey through the alien world. Within the central chamber of the alien ruins, Roger Kane noticed an unusual interface embedded in a cluster of crystalline pillars, each etched with pulsating glyphs that cast flickering shadows across the sand-strewn floor. As he approached, his sensors detected variations in energy emission along the pillars that seemed to respond to proximity and movement, a subtle but unmistakable indication of a system attuned to the presence of living beings. Rena Valor moved ahead, her cyan skin reflecting the soft luminescence as she navigated the array of platforms, each step revealing hidden conduits and chambers previously concealed by layers of debris. Roger observed her with intense curiosity, noting how her biosignature interacted with the environment in ways that allowed doors and panels to respond almost automatically to her presence, revealing the ruins' hidden architecture. A series of holographic projections emerged as he touched one of the active panels, displaying diagrams of energy flow and structural supports, but the data appeared partially encoded, requiring both his analytical skills and careful observation to interpret. He discovered subtle differences in Rena's physiology, the way her limbs adjusted micro-movements to manipulate environmental energy, creating shifts in the holographic patterns that suggested a level of organic synchronization rarely observed in any species. Every adjustment she made triggered corresponding changes in light and energy readings, revealing an unseen network that connected biological activity with technological functions, and Roger's realization deepened. Her presence was not incidental, it was a functional component within this complex system. As they progressed, Roger noticed faintly glowing channels along the walls, conduits carrying energy that seemed to pulse in tandem with Rena's own body rhythms, creating a dynamic interplay of organism and environment that challenged every expectation he had about the alien architecture. He mapped the flows carefully, watching as holographic indicators shifted in response to Rena's movements, revealing hidden paths and operational nodes that might have remained dormant without her influence. Curiosity built as Roger considered the implications. If her integration with this environment was indicative of her species' capabilities, then her biology and the ruins were inextricably linked, each capable of influencing the other. The interplay of organic and technological systems suggested an advanced understanding of energy modulation and environmental interaction that was far beyond human norms, and Roger's mind raced with possibilities for what this could mean for navigation, communication, and survival within the alien world. Every discovery heightened the tension, the potential for new revelations and unexpected changes pressing him to proceed cautiously yet with urgency, knowing that each step forward brought them closer to understanding the hidden mechanics of both Rena's abilities and the civilization that had constructed these ruins. The realization that her biology directly affected the architecture created a sense of wonder, a subtle escalation, and an unspoken challenge. To navigate the environment successfully, Roger would have to adapt to this extraordinary synergy and uncover the secrets it held before their journey could continue. As Roger Kane followed the luminous pulses through the labyrinthine ruins, the scale of the architecture became impossible to ignore, each chamber revealing evidence of a civilization that had mapped the energy flows of entire planets with precision that surpassed human engineering. Symbols etched into the walls suggested histories and hierarchies, each glyph carrying patterns that seemed to encode not only information but directives, a form of communication between the builders and their environment. Roger noticed subtle alignments of light and shadow across the crystalline flooring that shifted depending on his position, an indication that the structure had been designed to respond to observers, perhaps to test intent or comprehension. Rena Valor's movements continued to synchronize with these environmental cues, her biosignature interacting with the energy conduits in ways that subtly altered the pulses, revealing hidden chambers and pathways as though she was a living key to the ruins' secrets. Roger's sensors detected complex sequences of energy fluctuations that corresponded with historical markers within the ruins, a discovery suggesting that this place functioned as both archive and mechanism, its significance extending far beyond mere habitation or defense. The deeper they moved, the more the ruins' adaptive responses revealed themselves, energy fields shifted to illuminate new areas, corridors subtly reconfigured, and latent holographic projections activated, displaying schematics that indicated interconnections across the entire structure. Observing these interactions, Roger realized that Rena's presence was not only necessary to navigate safely but also revealed a method of control or guidance embedded in the alien design, suggesting that the knowledge contained within these halls was historically safeguarded for beings capable of engaging with it. Each new projection hinted at Empire-level implications, the encoded information detailing strategies, resource flows, and perhaps long-forgotten events that could alter understanding of the civilization's reach and influence. Roger's understanding escalated as he mapped these correlations, recognizing that this was not simply a ruin but a repository of intelligence, a system that had evolved to interact with capable organisms in ways that challenged conventional assumptions. The environment's responses were subtle but unmistakable, pathways that had seemed impassable opened, light sequences shifted to indicate correct approach, and energy pulses highlighted safe traversal points, revealing that the structure's creators had integrated surveillance, adaptability, and instruction into every element. The realization struck that their actions within this space were consequential, each step carrying the potential to uncover knowledge, trigger dormant mechanisms, and alter the configuration of the ruins themselves. This understanding expanded the stakes. The interplay between human and alien, observer and environment, had implications that could reshape Roger's comprehension of alien technology and civilization, highlighting the importance of precise observation, adaptation, and strategic movement as they continued deeper into the heart of the ruins. As Roger Kane advanced through the shifting corridors of the alien complex, a sudden change in the energy patterns drew his attention, a sequence of pulses that defied the rhythm he had been tracking. The walls, previously static in their luminescent glow, began to ripple subtly, as if reacting to an unseen presence beyond their immediate sensors, revealing hidden channels and alcoves that had been imperceptible moments before. Rena Valor paused, her body adjusting instinctively to the new environment, and Roger noticed a distinct fluctuation in her biosignature that synchronized with the undulating light, creating a phenomenon that neither of them could have predicted. As he monitored the readings, a central console activated unexpectedly, projecting holographic symbols that aligned with her physiological output, suggesting an unplanned interaction between her presence and the ruined systems. Roger's exosuit sensors highlighted overlapping networks of energy flows that interlinked the structure in complex, previously unseen ways, revealing that her influence was directly triggering the activation of long-dormant mechanisms, a discovery that carried both opportunity and unspoken risk. The patterns expanded rapidly, cascading across the walls and floors, forming coherent diagrams that depicted resource distribution, movement pathways, and structural hierarchies of the alien civilization, an overwhelming revelation that suggested she was not only part of the environment's operation but might serve as a key to its understanding. Roger realized that the interplay between her unique biosignature and the alien technology was far beyond coincidence, escalating the stakes and forcing him to reconsider the implications of her presence in this space. Each holographic shift revealed a hidden function, a potential strategy, or a historical record embedded within the architecture, and the magnitude of what was being unveiled suggested a level of civilization far more sophisticated than he had anticipated. The realization struck that their exploration was not merely an exercise in navigation but a discovery with potential empire-wide significance, the interactions between human, alien, and technology hinting at a capability to influence outcomes at a scale neither fully comprehended. As Roger and Rena moved through the corridors, every new projection and energy fluctuation reinforced the understanding that they were witnessing a living archive, a system that responded dynamically to the presence of beings capable of affecting its operation. The implications were immediate and transformative, shifting the focus from survival to comprehension, from observation to strategic engagement, and establishing that every step forward could unveil secrets with far-reaching consequences, a truth that redefined the parameters of their journey and set the stage for revelations that would challenge their understanding of both species and civilization. The activation of the holographic panel spread rapidly through the ruins, casting intricate maps of energy flow and structural networks that pulsed with patterns only partially understood, revealing the sheer scale and intent behind the alien civilization's design. Roger Kane watched as the sequences synchronized with Rena Valor's biosignature, each fluctuation indicating that her presence was influencing not just isolated systems but entire sectors of the ruins, suggesting a level of integration that challenged everything he had previously observed about alien architecture. The implications became undeniable. This was a functional archive, a living system that recorded and responded to sentient input, and her unique physiology was acting as a key, unlocking access to strategic information embedded in the walls and floors. Roger realized that the interactions they were witnessing could have empire-wide significance, as the diagrams projected by the holograms revealed connections to distant installations and resource nodes, hinting at a civilization capable of orchestrating logistics and communication on a planetary scale. Every shift in her movement caused subtle changes in the energy flows, illuminating hidden paths, activating dormant conduits, and exposing historical markers that told a story of expansion, governance, and meticulous planning across generations. The discovery carried a new weight, showing that the technology and Rena's biology were inseparable in their function, and that any misstep could have cascading consequences across the network. Roger traced the paths projected in midair, noticing that certain sequences aligned with celestial markers outside the ruins, implying predictive or observational capabilities extending far beyond the immediate environment. The pattern suggested that her presence and actions might influence outcomes in real time, not only in the chamber but across the larger system, demonstrating a capability for dynamic adaptation and strategy that demanded respect. This escalation of awareness reframed their journey. It was no longer exploration alone but a deliberate interaction with a sophisticated intelligence that had been dormant yet poised for activation by an organism capable of interfacing with its systems. The realization that the ruins and Rena were functionally connected, that her biosignature triggered responses and revealed data that could alter understanding of empire-scale operations, created a sense of urgency and significance. Every projection, pulse, and pattern reinforced the stakes, revealing that knowledge was entwined with presence, and the unfolding events had the potential to change the balance of insight, strategy, and discovery within the alien world, a force that Roger could neither ignore nor fully anticipate, and one that would redefine both their roles in the environment and the trajectory of the mission. As Roger Kane adjusted his sensors to track the shifting energy patterns, he felt an unspoken connection forming with Rena Valor, a tension that was neither spoken nor visible but palpable in the way their movements harmonized within the ruins. Each pulse of her biosignature seemed to signal new pathways and reveal hidden mechanisms, and Roger realized that their collaboration, intentional or not, was accelerating the rate at which discoveries unfolded. The corridors, once alien and incomprehensible, now reflected a synchronized rhythm, a subtle dance between human observation and alien instinct, each action feeding into the other to uncover more of the complex architecture. Roger noted micro-changes in Rena's posture as she navigated energy bridges and conduits, her responsiveness hinting at both training and instinctive adaptation, and he adjusted his steps to complement her movements, anticipating where the system would react next. The emergent patterns revealed chambers that contained not just historical data but encoded operational directives, information that only revealed itself when both presence and awareness aligned, suggesting that their partnership was a necessary component to access higher-level functions within the ruins. A sudden shift in luminescence highlighted a central hub, its holographic projections expanding to illustrate interlinked energy nodes, some spanning areas far beyond the immediate structure, and Roger realized that Rena's involvement was actively unlocking information that could have strategic implications far outside their current location. The synchronization between them created a dynamic feedback loop, each discovery prompting immediate response and adaptation, escalating their understanding while deepening the personal bond forged through mutual reliance. Roger became aware that subtle cues, the timing of her steps, the micro-adjustments in her body, were critical in revealing the full scope of the ruins' design, and he instinctively mirrored her precision to maintain the integrity of the discoveries. Every corridor, projection, and energy conduit interacted with them as a pair, and the realization that their cooperation was essential heightened both curiosity and stakes, revealing not only hidden functions but also the necessity of trust and alignment. The environment itself seemed to respond to this partnership, amplifying the rate of revelation and the complexity of the patterns displayed, suggesting that the ruins were designed for entities capable of coordinated cognition. As they moved together, the personal tension between observation and action, awareness and adaptation, shaped every decision, every step revealing new facets of the alien architecture while simultaneously reinforcing the importance of their growing interdependence, a subtle yet powerful force that would define the path forward and set the stage for the challenges yet to come. As Roger Kane advanced deeper into the interconnected chambers, the patterns of energy and light revealed something unexpected. Pockets of environmental modulation that suggested adaptive intelligence, areas where Rena Valor's presence triggered changes that went beyond navigation and into what appeared to be active experimentation with the surroundings. Sensors in his exosuit detected microfluctuations in the energy fields, subtle but distinct, corresponding to physiological reactions in Rena, indicating a previously unrecognized link between her biology and the architectural system. Roger observed as conduits realigned and panels shifted, exposing hidden alcoves filled with what seemed to be data nodes, holographic projections of planetary schematics, and structural blueprints that hinted at interstellar networks. The discovery illuminated the possibility that the ruins were not static relics but a living system capable of recording, adapting, and possibly even predicting actions of sentient organisms within it, and Rena's biosignature acted as a catalyst, revealing layers of information inaccessible to any autonomous scanning system. Each interaction revealed new pathways and configurations, creating an expanding map of functional complexity that suggested evolutionary foresight by the civilization that built it. Roger realized that the integration of Rena's unique physiology with the environmental controls meant that her movements, respiration, and even subtle micromuscle adjustments could trigger large-scale effects, potentially altering the configuration of the chambers and exposing strategic or historical data. The implications were profound. Not only was this system capable of dynamic interaction, but it might also represent a hybrid synthesis of biology and technology that had evolved to be responsive to organisms with advanced perceptual and cognitive abilities. The magnitude of the discovery changed the perspective on their mission, elevating it from exploration to the potential understanding of an entire civilization's operational and informational design. Roger's awareness of the stakes intensified as he mapped the sequences of light and energy, noting that every change correlated with predictive adjustments in the system, revealing that the ruins had been engineered to adapt to certain behavioral patterns. This realization created an underlying tension, emphasizing that their presence was influencing outcomes in real time and that understanding this integration was critical for both navigation and the potential strategic significance of the ruins. The unfolding discovery also reshaped Roger's perception of Rena, her role expanding from guide to essential participant in the activation and interpretation of the alien environment. Each revelation carried both promise and unspoken responsibility, showing that their continued exploration would demand constant observation, precise coordination, and respect for the delicate balance between sentient influence and environmental response, a dynamic that could fundamentally alter both their understanding of the ruins and the future implications for interactions with this advanced civilization. Roger Kane paused on the edge of the elevated platform, the ambient energy from the ruins pulsing through his sensors as he assessed the expanding network of corridors and chambers. The holographic projections from the previous discoveries continued to shift in real time, revealing interconnections that suggested strategic layouts and historical records encoded into the structure itself. Rena Valor adjusted her stance, the subtle micro-movements of her limbs causing new sequences of light and energy to cascade across the walls, each pattern revealing additional chambers and conduits previously hidden, confirming that her presence was directly influencing the environment's response. Roger recognized that they faced a pivotal choice: to follow one newly revealed path could mean accessing critical information or unlocking mechanisms that might alter the configuration of the entire complex, while other options carried unknown consequences. The tension intensified as the scope of the ruins became clearer. Energy pulses indicated that their movements could trigger responses in sections far beyond their immediate view, a network of cause and effect that demanded precise coordination and trust. Every decision they made now had implications not just for navigation, but for understanding the civilization's methods and intentions, amplifying the stakes and demanding that Roger synchronize his actions with Rena's instinctive adjustments. The central hub projected a new set of data, highlighting nodes that aligned with structural integrity points and energy sources, suggesting that the correct sequence of actions could reveal a core archive or unlock previously inaccessible information. The interplay between their actions and the environment created a rising crescendo of discovery, with each pulse and adjustment escalating the tension and the potential impact of their choices. Roger's awareness sharpened, noting the subtle cues in Rena's biosignature, her adjustments and focus, the way her movements directed the flow of energy and light to reveal hidden information, emphasizing that their collaboration was essential for continued progress. The realization that their joint presence could directly influence outcomes at a large scale changed everything about how he approached each step, forcing him to act with both calculation and intuition. The environment itself became a participant in their decisions, responding dynamically to their synchronized actions, and the consequences of miscalculation or hesitation were immediate in the shifting projections, rising stakes, and ever-expanding complexity of the ruins. This moment crystallized the critical tension. The choices they made now would define not only what was revealed in the ruins but also the degree to which they could comprehend and interact with the civilization's legacy, a delicate balance of discovery, risk, and influence that required courage, precision, and trust as they navigated the threshold between knowledge and consequence. Roger Kane and Rena Valor reached the inner sanctum of the ruins, where the ambient energy coalesced into a vast network of holographic projections and flowing conduits, the complexity overwhelming yet breathtaking in its precision. Roger paused, observing how every micro-movement of Rena triggered cascades of light, realigning pathways and revealing previously hidden archives that contained encoded data on planetary logistics, resource distribution, and architectural strategy. He realized that their presence and coordination were unlocking insights that had been dormant for centuries, a discovery that demanded trust and precise cooperation to ensure the correct sequence of interactions. Rena adjusted her posture instinctively, guiding them across delicate platforms while maintaining synchronization with energy nodes that could shift or obscure entire sections if misaligned, revealing that the ruined systems were responsive to intent as much as to presence. The scope of the environment expanded, showing interlinked zones that could be accessed only through coordinated movements and biofeedback, each revelation escalating the stakes as Roger understood the magnitude of their actions. Their combined focus activated a central control array, projecting historical and operational schematics that mapped both the architecture and its creator's intent, and Roger discerned that only by working in tandem with Rena could they interpret the full depth of this civilization's intelligence. Every interaction became a test of timing and observation, requiring precise alignment of human decision-making and alien instinct to reveal new information and prevent systemic disruption. The realization that their collaboration could alter the configuration of the ruins and unlock high-level knowledge established a moment of clarity. Trust and cooperation were no longer optional but essential for both understanding and navigating the complex. As they progressed, each discovery reinforced their reliance on one another, highlighting the necessity of synchronization and shared awareness, and every revealed mechanism or chamber became a testament to the power of coordinated action. The ruins responded dynamically to their cooperation, offering new insights and pathways that would remain inaccessible without this precise partnership, emphasizing that the successful resolution of their mission depended on mutual understanding and respect for each other's abilities. In that crucible of light, energy, and motion, Roger and Rena moved with a sense of purpose and alignment, each action deliberate, each adjustment critical, as the environment itself acknowledged their cooperation and allowed them to access the hidden legacy of an advanced civilization, establishing a foundation for future discoveries and a shared path forward in the alien world. As the final chambers of the ruins unfolded before Roger Kane and Rena Valor, the ambient energy coalesced into a harmonious resonance that seemed to acknowledge their synchronized presence. Holographic streams of light projected intricate networks of planetary systems, energy flows, and architectural schematics that had remained dormant for centuries, now fully responsive to their combined biosignatures. Roger observed that each subtle adjustment of his movement and each micro-gesture from Rena triggered cascading visualizations, revealing connections and patterns that suggested the civilization had encoded lessons, strategies, and histories designed to be accessed only through cooperation and perceptive interaction. The scale of the discovery was staggering: pathways that spanned entire planetary installations, energy distribution networks, and archived knowledge unfolded in layered complexity, showing not only technological mastery but an understanding of adaptive collaboration that transcended species. Rena's presence amplified the depth of insight, her movements and physiological signals harmonizing with the system to unlock sequences that would otherwise remain inaccessible, and Roger realized that their partnership had become integral to fully engaging with the intelligence embedded within the ruins. Every corridor, conduit, and projection now revealed lessons in strategy, coordination, and perception, reflecting the civilization's intent to reward those capable of observation, understanding, and deliberate action. The dynamic interplay between human initiative and alien instinct had changed both the ruins and their approach, creating a feedback loop of discovery and adaptation that expanded their understanding exponentially. Roger felt the magnitude of the legacy laid before them, knowledge preserved across millennia, awaiting those capable of perceiving both the environment and the beings within it as a cohesive system. The culmination of their journey was not in reaching a final room or activating a single device, but in the realization that humanity's capacity for curiosity, observation, and ethical alignment could resonate with the universe in ways that transcended physical power or alien sophistication. The energy pulses of the ruins reflected this harmony, a silent testament to the potential unlocked when beings of different origins worked in tandem, blending insight, intuition, and responsiveness. As they stood amid the radiant convergence of light, energy, and information, the moment crystallized. The galaxy held complexities that only entities willing to trust, cooperate, and engage with wonder could access, and the legacy of this civilization was now partially revealed, forever altered by the presence of a human who had chosen to move with curiosity, courage, and respect. In the quiet reflection of that vast chamber, it became clear that the uniqueness of humanity was not in dominance or strength but in the capacity to bridge worlds, to influence and be influenced, and to unlock truths that even advanced civilizations had encoded for those who understood the value of empathy, observation, and collaboration, leaving an open horizon for future discovery and connection across the stars.